Good afternoon, everybody. We continue to track a winter storm across the area, and we do have some updates for you and some new information to give you. We'll start with a look outside of our Harrisburg camera at this point, where it's been back and forth between snow, mixing with some rain and snow again. But after a warm one yesterday, as we take a look here at 2nd Street, you can see, of course, conditions are just wet at this time. At some of our higher elevation locations where it has been persistently snowing, it's possible that you're starting to get some slush, especially on those grassy areas right now. But we think it's going to take time until it starts coming down a little bit more this evening and into the night. So I said this before, and I do think, if you've been following us, that the afternoon's going to be rather uneventful because of all of this. It's not until the evening and the night where we're expecting the bulk of any snow accumulations, unless you're at some of our higher elevations west of Harrisburg. Here is the storm now, starting off as rainfall, but it is going to transition to just plain snow along the coastal areas and bring them, of course, the highest amounts out of this. From Delmarva and even up through New England, they are going to get hammered. And we're going to get a little taste of this off the back edge of the system. What's going to happen is this system intensifies, it's going to wrap in, and then it's going to ultimately shift out to sea and up through New England. So with that said, we've got winter storm warnings throughout our entire area. That's the pink you see here, and that is through Monday morning. The red, though, it's not very often you see this, especially in coastal areas like New Jersey and even down into Delmarva. This is blizzard. These are blizzard warnings, I should say, stretching up through Monday. Again, that's where they're going to get not just the wind, but the heavy 1 to 2 inch per hour snow amounts. We could have some impressive bursts at times, but it does look like our general thinking of roughly 4 to 8 inches, that was our update yesterday, still looks very likely, but we did have to add some tweaks with some nuances that has come in with the newer data this morning. So as we zoom in and we take a look here, you can see snow continuing to fall, especially at our higher elevations. A lot of it on the light side, though. I don't think it really starts to pick up, at least not for most folks, until, again, later this evening. Good amount of rain still mixing in through parts of York, Lancaster, Lebanon, and even Dauphin counties. And temperatures are above freezing, too. This is another reason why we really don't think this is going to start laying, especially on our major roadways, and turning slushy in some of those back roads, too, until the evening. These temperatures are eventually going to come down a good bit, and we do have low visibility too, especially with the haze and even some snow that might be coming down in some areas. Mostly the lowest visibility is into parts of Franklin, Mifflin, and Juniata counties at this point. So here's a check on Futurecast. You'll notice through the afternoon, and this is at about 3 o'clock this afternoon, that rain snow continues to close in, and we see a transition to just plain snow showers and periods of light snow across the area. It does turn heftier, though, through the evening. You can see some of these darker shadings of blue, and this is where I think we get our most accumulation. First will be on the grassy areas. The rest is going to be for, of course, the warmer surfaces, the ones that had to take in all of the 40-degree temperatures yesterday. That's going to be our main road, secondary, and back roads. So it'll be pretty slushy and maybe even slick in spots getting out the door in the morning, even though close to daybreak and onward, this is really going to just be tapering. Maybe a few flurries or a few lingering snow showers, but I think before daybreak, we're going to shut down the bulk of the accumulating snow across the area. And then conditions can slowly but surely get better. So we'll summarize the storm timeline here. Still think that there will be some rain and snow showers, of course, through the afternoon, but we'll notice through the next few hours that the rain is going to start shrinking and the snow takes over. Minimal impacts, though. This hasn't changed. We think through the afternoon this will mostly just melt on contact, especially on the roads. Our cooler, higher elevation locations could very well be a different story on the grassy areas. So a little finicky in some spots, obviously, just given the fact that you run a little cooler because you're a higher elevation. Steady snow does begin, though, right around sunset and then heading into the evening and the overnight period. And this is where we expect the bulk of our accumulations to happen. We think a general 3 to 8 inches is going to be a better fit now for the area as opposed to the 4 to 8 from our update last evening. We saw some shifting in the models this morning, especially with the back edge of this storm, and we do think that does have consequences where most folks a good chunk of our area anyway. 4 inches might not be a good low end for you anymore, and we'll show you that and how that changes for you. But this is going to accumulate overnight, wrap up and taper through the morning, although through about mid to late morning there still could be some slick spots and some travel delays. But I think by the afternoon, especially as crews can get to work and help clear up, I think everything for the most part will be good to go for at least passable and doable travel by then. With that said, since the storm, I did mention not too long ago, you might remember me just saying this, since the storm did end up shifting the back edge just a little bit more to the east. It's subtle. I mean, we're going from the eastern half of Lancaster County, just maybe 30 miles over into Chester County, but I think the 8 to 12 inches can safely at this point stay out to the east and just outside our area. Now, with that said, most folks are still getting several inches of snow out of this, but because of that shift out to the east, we're getting a little bit of a back edge where there's going to be a dip now in Lycans, Harrisburg, and it likely could extend a 2 to 5 range just down to York. Lebanon, you might just be inside of that where you could get 5 to 8 inches, depending on where some of those heavier snow bands set up. Now, we think because the higher elevation locations are cooler right now, accumulating on the grass doesn't take as long, we think that there's this interesting U-shape, horseshoe shape that's going to happen here where you've got the potential for 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 inches of snow in our higher elevation locations. So this is the latest update and the final update. It is at this point to our snowfall totals. So make sure, of course, that you are taking it easy on the roadways. If you do have to travel, you'll need the extra time during the evening and the overnight for our workers who might be on that schedule, and even getting out the door early could still be a little slushy and slippery in some spots, especially in our 5 to 8 inch range. You end up getting the high end closer to those 7 or 8 inches. It still could be a little slushy and slick on the roadways. That'll do it for now, though, everybody. Stay with us. We'll keep you up to date and be back at 2 o'clock in the afternoon with yet another update.